Shirin polo, Persian sweet rice or jeweled rice. This stunning rice dish is time-consuming but so worth it to make at home. Come with me while I show you how to make it step by step. Now, there are so many versions of Shirin pulao. I'm just showing you the way that I like to make it, and my version has carrots. So the easiest thing is to just get the bag of matchstick or julienne carrots from the store already cut up. They're already in the perfect shape and length for this. But if you don't have those, you can just use regular carrots and peel them and then cut them into julienne or matchstick pieces like I'm showing you here. That is very time consuming though. So if you can get your hands on the pre-cut kind, please do that. Then you're going to need the zest of 2 oranges, and I suck at doing this. You can see that I'm struggling with the peeler, but basically you just cut just the zest off. You don't want the white pith because that's bitter, so try to avoid that as much as you can by not going in too deep. And then you cut the zest into the little matchstick pieces, so similar size of the carrots. Now, I prefer my raisins and pistachios and almonds to be soft. That's why I soak them first, but you'll see other recipes for this dish that do not call for soaking these elements. This is just what I like to do. So I bought the pre-packaged slivered almonds, and then I have some raisins. These are Pakistani raisins. You can use whatever raisins that you have. And then I'm just chopping my unsalted pistachios before I soak them. And these all need to soak about 30 minutes. The almonds can soak a little bit longer though because they are harder than the other two. And this is hot water that I'm using, by the way, to soak these. And then just set them aside. So the Persian way of making rice is to boil it like a pasta, and then you drain it and then you steam it. I don't know that technique, so I'm just cooking my Sela basmati rice the way that I always do, which is I wash it really, really well, like 3, 4, 5 times to get all of the starch off. And then for this, I'm just going to cook it in some butter. So I'm going to melt some butter in the pan, and then I'm going to saute the rice a little bit in the butter. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of hot water for every 1 cup of rice. I'm cooking 3 cups of rice here, so I'm adding 6 cups of water. And then I just get it to a boil, cover it, turn it down to low, and then cook it for exactly 20 minutes on low. So while the rice is cooking, I'm going to show you how to do the most complicated part of this process, and that's candying the orange zest. So there's our orange zest, and then I'm going to put this in a pot, and we're going to boil it 2 times. So I'm going to show you the exact same thing twice. So in a small saucepan, cover your orange zest with water and then turn it up onto high heat and boil it for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to drain it, and then we're going to do it again. So then you just put it back in the same saucepan, cover it with room temperature water, and then boil it again for 10 minutes. This is to get the oranges soft before we candy them. And I'm going to show you what candying means in just a second. So see, I'm boiling it the second time, draining it the second time. So after the second time, we add 3/4 of a cup of sugar to the saucepan with the boiled orange zest, and then we add fresh water. This is room temperature water again. We're going to add about 1.5 cups, and then we're going to get this to a boil, and we're going to boil it until it becomes a simple syrup. So we're creating an orange simple syrup, and then we're candying our oranges. So we set the candied orange zest aside, and then we're left over with this simple syrup, and we're just going to let that cool. Then in another pan, we're going to cook our carrots in some melted butter, about 3 tablespoons, and we're going to cook them down until they're soft and brown. I'm showing you what they should look like here. You see the carrots are browned. Then we're going to set them aside. Then in that same pan, we're just going to throw the raisins in after we've drained the water out of them, just to give them a glisten from the leftover butter that's in the pan, only a few seconds, and then take them out. And then we're going to toast our almonds. Again, we drained them since they were soaking. And then I'm adding a little bit of that orange simple syrup we created, and then I'm going to toast them with that to give it that nice orange flavor. And then when they're brown and toasty like this, then we're going to set them aside. Then finally, we're going to drain our chopped pistachios, and then we're going to put them in the same pan, and then again add a little bit of that syrup, and then we're just going to toast them for a few seconds just to get them to glisten and look nice and presentable. To give the rice some color, we're going to add saffron water. You can buy this prepackaged, but it does contain food coloring if you get it that way, or you can take pure saffron, grind it up, and then dissolve it in about 1/4 cup of water, and that will give you saffron water, but the pure kind without any food coloring. So it's up to you. If you have pure saffron, do it that way, or use the prepackaged saffron water. That's what I'm going to use for convenience today. So after preparing all of the elements, we can layer our Shirin pulao. So what we're going to do is put 1/2 of the rice down on a nice serving platter. and then we're going to spread it around in a nice even layer, and then we're going to add some saffron water. Just add 1 or 2 lines because we're going to mix it up afterwards, and then we're going to add half of our carrots, half of our candied orange zest, half of our raisins, and then half of our toasted slivered almonds. And then we'll add the rest of our rice, and then we'll do this all over again, except at the final layer, we add the pistachios on top. So while you watch me do the final layer, this is actually really good with chicken. I see a lot of recipes where they cook this with chicken and serve it that way. It's good on its own. Some people like it for dessert. It's lightly sweetened though, so you can totally eat it with a savory dish, and it's so delicious. So after we're done layering that and we've added our pistachios on top, we're going to add the rest of our orange simple syrup all over it. Simply stunning. Mix it up and enjoy, and that is how you make